20 years in a row. The #1 state for exports, with Laredo playing a key part in that #1 ranking. Texas also is ranked as the #1 business climate in America, and a reason why I'm running for re-election is to ensure we remain #1 in that business climate. Since I've been governor, the number of registered businesses that we have in the state has more than doubled. And more Texans have a job today, and their wages are higher than ever before in the history of our state. We have seen challenges faced by small businesses and attempted to address some of those challenges this past session. Before I became governor, there was a tax that existed on small businesses that would tax their equipment, their tools, and the property they have on the premises, like could be a table like this. And there was an exemption of $2,500 of the value of that property that was not taxed, which obviously is negligible as it concerns the property tax bill that those businesses had. This past session, we increased that from $2,500 to $125,000 exemption. That really provides a lot to the wallets of our small business leaders here in Laredo as well as across the state of Texas, meaning that they're going to be able to take home more money or invest that money in hiring more employees or maybe making a capital investment in their small business. Bottom line, it's just one of the ways we can help our small businesses grow. Something else that I did, I created the Small Business Freedom Council. This is a way of addressing what's called the cost of doing business. In many other states, businesses are fleeing because the cost of doing business is so high. The regulatory environment in California is causing businesses to shut down and come to places like Texas. We are going through the process of eliminating that cost of doing business by slashing through regulations that will lower that cost of doing business. Another thing that the businesses are facing, and this was discussed by pretty much everybody here during our roundtable, the cost of insurance is a heavy weight on our small businesses. But let's be clear, it doesn't stop there. It could be homeowners, it could be small or large businesses, it could be an auto owner, whatever the case may be. The cost of insurance has skyrocketed. You know, some people talk about affordability, the cost of living. And people think, well, that may apply to what we're paying for groceries or something like that, the cost of gasoline. People don't realize that one of the costs that's increasing, maybe far faster and far higher than any other cost, is actually the cost of insurance. And so we strategize here today, and we will be in the next session, to implement laws that will be slashing your insurance costs, whether you're a homeowner, auto owner, or a business owner. Other things we talked about here is infrastructure. Listen, you got massive growth here in Laredo, massive growth in the economic footprint. It could be cross-border traffic, could be manufacturing facilities setting up here in the greater Webb County area, whatever the case may be. There are great needs for more infrastructure here, and I'm talking with leaders of the Texas Department of Transportation to make sure those needs are met. Similarly, there are great needs here as elsewhere across the state to address workforce needs, especially as it concerns skilled, highly trained workforce to do essential tasks, whether it be plumbing, pipe fitting, welding, all those different types of tasks, including, especially with the increase of data centers, more electricians. And we talked about ways in which we can provide the highly skilled education that's going to be needed to fill those very important jobs, including what the state is already doing to expand those operations in our high schools, in our two-year colleges, as well as the Texas State Technical College. And bottom line, there's a lot of needs that our small businesses have. That said, the state knows full well the pivotal role that small businesses play in our state. And so we will be making sure the needs of our small businesses are being met, because the backbone of the robust economy we have in the state of Texas is built by the entrepreneurs who own and operate those small businesses right here in Laredo, Texas. As long as I'm governor, I will always have the back of the small businesses across our state. We'll take a few questions. Go ahead.
Governor, we've learned that the federal government has been dropping few weeks. And I'm wondering if the Trump administration has coordinated with you about those drop-offs.
I've had no information or conversation, whatever, about dropping them off here. All I can tell you is this, not knowing the extent to what you're talking about, even not knowing that, I can tell you for a fact, there are fewer being dropped off now than there were 2 years ago under the prior administration.
Now, you were very critical of the Biden administration doing that here in the state of Texas, dropping off migrants. Would you extend the same criticism to the Trump administration since some of the drop-offs are starting to happen in mid-state?
Now, before I can comment on that, I need to learn about it because it's inconsistent with the information that I have. Because I know several things the administration is doing. I've not heard of them dropping off migrants. So let me learn more about that from the administration.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Go for it.
Just a quick question. A few days ago, yesterday there was a press conference with Congressman Claire and the introduction of H-2B visas for skilled training. I wanted to ask a bit about that and if you're in support of that specific process and how you are looking to introduce like the training here specifically for skilled laborers here in
Sure.
the U.S. What are some of the programs that you discussed during the roundtable?
Sure. First on the visas. I've been vocal recently about H-1B visas. And there is an reevaluation that's being undertaken by the administration in Washington, D.C. One thing they did, they increased the application fee to $100,000. That alone has put a dent in the number of H-1B visas. But that said, what I learned is there were a lot of uses and abuses going on in taxpayer-funded public sector operations in the state of Texas. There are colleges and universities, as well as other taxpayer-funded, state-run organizations. We want to make sure that we don't have any H-1B visa fraud in the state of Texas. There are no abuses taking place, and we're working swiftly to achieve that goal. With regard to the H-2B visas, I would say that the same standard would apply there. Again, let's be clear about something. These are federal programs, not run by the state of Texas, not operated or involving the state of Texas whatsoever. But what I have a responsibility to do, and that's to make sure that Texas taxpayer money that's going to state-based programs and entities is not being caught up in any type of fraud or abuse of those visa programs. With regard to your other question, listen, we had a really great, important conversation about skill training. And it's an echo of what I hear across the state. But let's apply it to Laredo. High demand for skill training, which is a good problem to have. It means you have a robust economy here. And we want to make sure, however, that we address their need for more skilled training workers. And we do that, for one, by the passage of almost $1 billion through the Texas State Technical College that will provide that high skill training. We've also, in the last 2 sessions, increased funding for our 2-year college programs, just like one you have here in Laredo, to make sure they are increasing their efforts. But there's no reason to wait that late in a career of somebody. This can begin in high school. And so we're expanding high school training programs to make sure that a student can graduate from high school and be ready to go right into that workforce and make a lot of money. Candidly, you can be a plumber and make more than the governor of Texas. And our goal is to make sure that we have those high-skill, high-trained jobs that are leading to a good paying job for young adults across Texas.
I have a follow-up.
Sure.
Skilled jobs, and especially the training that you're speaking of, it does take a long time. And I know that you mentioned that there is funding towards it. But even yesterday speaking, I think it was Monica Martinez, she mentioned that there were 30% decrease in loans that are going into construction. And construction and builders, it is a really highly skilled job. And they're kind of saying that there is a shortage when it comes to construction builders. Some of them are afraid to show up to job sites because they're afraid of being detained. And some of them are here, legally, but they're still afraid to show up to job sites. So in terms of that, is there any plan to do with just H-2B visas? Because as we know, H-2B visas are just seasonal visas that are given to people to come here and work and, to supplement that. So is there any plan to kind of increase H-2B visas while, the shortage that the U.S. is facing, just based on this 30% decrease in construction. This is based on, compared to last year.
Sure. So anything involving H-2B visas is solely the federal government. State governments don't have anything to do with visa programs. It's only the federal government, and what they decide is what will happen.
Time for more questions, folks.
I will say just real quick, I mean, as we were taking the meeting, one of the things that I appreciate the governor doing, he was taking action immediately. On the technical schools, he wanted to understand why we haven't really pushed something here in Webb County, and so he got on the phone, literally got on the phone and started making some phone calls. I might use his, there might be a little donut hole here, and he wants to know why, and he wants to be able to bring that, because that's the kind of governor that we have. We have one that's going to take action immediately, and I appreciate that, Governor. That means a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much, and thank you all very much also.
Can I give you a deal on the school run?
Oh, yeah.
People up in August.
Oh, I know. So we have a big announcement on that